two, one, and go.
Welcome back to the Black Millennium Podcast. You got Caleb, me, myself, and I. We got my boy Million. How you doing this week, my boy?
I'm doing pretty good. Just started spring break, so I'm pretty happy about that. How are you
That's
doing?
that's good. That's good. I'm doing good, man. I just started spring break, so I'm happy about that as well. I'm really happy about that.
Right.
Today we're going to be talking about historical Black colleges, right? Most of these colleges are in the South. We have a couple like in DC, right?
Yeah.
But most of them are in the South. I wish we had one, at least one in California or like in New York. Like we gotta get that to happen in the next 20 years. Um, but most of the HBCUs are in the South, and it's lit still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I'm a 2 year student. I'm in college already. I'm at community college, but I did consider going to a HBCU just because I felt like I would be around my people. I'd be tapped in with my people more, um, and that's more of a pro when we talk about HBCUs.
Right.
Throughout this episode, we're gonna talk about cons with HBCUs, and we're gonna talk about if we had to choose a college today, which one would we choose? But right now, we about to get straight into the pros. And like I said, one pro is being around our people. I think that's dope, and I think it's a comfort factor that's that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. It's a very when you go to HBCU, it's a very good atmosphere. I've been to a few college. I've been to a college tour, HBCU college tour, and just immediately walking on campus and seeing all these black people is just very heartwarming, and it's very like I can see this as my new home or something like that. You know what I mean? And I'm a high school junior, so next year I'll be a senior. I'll be choosing what colleges I'm going to. So I already have a few in mind. The top schools are HBCUs because from birth I've been brought up to go to HBCU. My whole family, my mom and her siblings all went to HBCU, so I already have a lot of ties with HBCUs, and I know a lot about them since from growing up for the years, just listening to the stories and stuff like that. Um, and I know a lot of pros are really good. One of the ones that I wanted to bring up was um, I already said this, the atmosphere, and you get in, when you see people that are doing as good as you are that look exactly like you. It's very heartwarming, and it's a lot better going to a school that you could see around 100% black people versus going to a PWI where you will pretty white predominantly white institution where you'll see probably like 90% non-black people, and it's a lot more heartwarming. It's a lot more it really propels you into this motion of I need to get my work done and do something because there are these people that look exactly like me, and if I fail, maybe I'll feel some type of way. That's not no, I would feel some type of way if I failed at college at HBCU and all these people look like me because they can if they can make it, I know I can make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's motivation every day. And I think that's like so cool that we see, you feel me? Because we see people that not only look like us, but that talk like us, but that probably watch the same things we watch,
Right.
do the same things we do, and could still manage and be responsible enough to take care of their responsibilities. And that's one of the best things anybody could see of any race. Um, just seeing somebody that looks like you, talk like you, do whatever. I mean, they might have the same interests, but could still be successful too. That shows that anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? Especially on HBCU um, campus. I think that's super dope. When one thing I want to mention is like the pros about fraternities,
Yeah.
specifically for us. We're men, so fraternities and the sorority. Shout out to all my sorority sisters too. I'm not in a fraternity. I did be, be in a program called Kappa League, so shout out to my Kappas out there. You feel me? But that's big too. Seeing people like that, those type of programs and fraternities. Those are people that look like us, dress like us, go through the same things we go through,
Right.
and are successful and are I like to get swaggy. You feel me? And all my fraternities, they all got drip. So that I mean, it's a different environment, but it's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's comforting, and like that's a big factor when you go to college. Are you
It's
thinking about that?
it's definitely a big factor being very comfortable around people that look just like you. And it's like I was saying, it's like a home. It's like all these people around you are your brothers and sisters. You can think of them as siblings sort of. And it's a very good atmosphere to be around. It's very like you said, it's very motivational. And it's funny you brought up Kappa League because I'm a part of a group called Alpha Esquires right now. So
Nice,
shout
nice,
out to
nice.
Alphas. But yeah, speaking of fraternities, that is something that a lot of I'm not going to say a lot of PWIs don't have because they do have fraternities at PWIs and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know how they particularly work. I don't know how much of a brotherhood or sisterhood it's like. I don't know how close they're all together. But for speaking from someone who's close to fraternities and knows what it's like to be part of a black fraternity, not a part of, but to know what it's like to be around a black fraternity. It's definitely a very tight it's a very tight thing. It's like I was saying, it's like a family, like someone you can call on. I have about like a list of numbers I can call on right now, and they'll help me with whatever I need. Um, but yeah, that's what it's like going to a HBCU. It's a big family basically. It's just one big. You can think of everyone as one big family. Still got to get your work done. Still got to get your work done, but yeah, it's just one big family, and also the parties are insane. The parties
yeah.
are insane.
Parties are saying all that, networking, all that. But all that with all that comes a lot of fun. But then we have to graduate, and maybe not even graduate. We just get put in positions where we are in a situation where we're seeing people other than our color, and we
Yeah,
have to work with them as well. Um, and that's okay. I think the main goal for all of us is to be able to work with all people
right.
of our color at the best level and people of other colors at the best level. That should be the goal. But that's something that we got to work towards. It doesn't happen overnight, you know. So I think with HBCUs, we that provides, like, as a pro, it provides experience with us working with each other.
Right.
And then when we get out of it, you have to get that experience with working with others, with maybe being the only black person in the room. That's We've talked to some high echelon people about that, and like that's gonna happen to us. So we have to get exposed, and we gotta know how to conduct ourselves in those situations. So at some point, you know.
Right. It's definitely good to be exposed to different environments. And like you were saying, you at some point you will have to work with people that don't look like you, and that's okay. You just have to learn how to work with people that don't look like you. But still learning what it's like to work with people just like you is a great experience. But yeah, you gotta get into the habit of going outside the box. And that's another thing about HBCUs. Someone who grows up, you have black kids that grow up at predominantly white high schools and such, and that's all they know. They don't know anything about HBCUs, such like that. I've known people where I had to teach people about HBCUs, and it's like they were completely shocked that they were like schools with predominantly black people. And it's like I'm saying, it's definitely good for a lot of those people who don't know much about HBCUs, a lot of black people who don't know about HBCUs to look into it and see if it's something they would like to go to, a place they would like to go to and study at, you know?
Yeah, for real. Like, I mean, I was going back to what you mentioned. I was one of those kids that, not, I wouldn't say I didn't know about HBCU, but it was something that got introduced to me as I got older. When I got in the middle school, and then when I got in high school, I learned more. Then my senior year, I really learned a lot more about it. So like for that way, it worked for me. It wasn't forced on me, like, oh, you have to go to a HBCU. None of that. It came to me in my life at a certain time. It grew with me, and it's still there. You know what I'm saying? But I think I could honestly say, like, I was one of those kids that didn't really know like that, and I didn't go to school when elementary, middle school, high school. Most of my schools were either diverse, or predominantly white. So
Right.
I can't say I've been on campus with my people, but I've been in certain environments with my people that could be like on campus. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
know it'd be lit, but that's experience I've never had. I've been on pretty much diverse campuses or like predominantly white campuses.
Right. And it kind of, but for like the younger kids, it kind of sucks because I go to a predominantly black high school. I go to Dorsey High School, and even there, it's when you have like college fairs and stuff. There's barely anything about HBCUs, so it's hard for young black kids to sort, especially out here in the coast. It's a lot harder for young black kids to get into HBCUs because there's not much information to find out. I mean, there's information all around the world, of course. You can find the information if you look, but for some schools, they don't really advocate for going to HBCUs, especially in California. I know they're very heavy on trying to get you to go to a Cal State or
Yeah.
UC and stuff like that, which is okay. But it doesn't present the option to go to HBCU isn't presented as often as I feel like it should be in high schools.
Yeah, I mean, especially out here in Cali, you know, for one, they want to keep you in state. We got a lot of stuff you can do. You're gonna be around a lot of different people. And I also think one reason we can't get or we don't like get pushed to go to a HBCU out here specifically is because we don't have one out here. Like you're gonna have to go to the South and get that experience, which isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. But I could share a personal story. I lost my mom first year of college, so and I like I said at the beginning of the episode, I got a scholarship from Benedict University. Shout out HBCU, Benedict. You feel me? But I didn't end up going. But when I did lose my mom, and I thought about that, like, damn, I would have been out there by myself at the heat of that time, and I wouldn't have had my family around me. Like that would have probably put a big hole in my college because I'm probably would have came back out here, stopped that semester at college, and just I don't know what would have happened. But I was already out here, so the next day I was in class, even though I lost my mom. I showed up to school the next day, so um yeah, I just think that would have been different for me. That causes a lot of people to make different decisions. But just with that being the case, since it was like so far, I would have been there by myself. Uh, that kind of made it hard for me. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
that's why I want to say, like, whoever is listening to this, we need to get an HBCU in California, somewhere. It's hella
Right.
space.
Somewhere close.
Somewhere close, somewhere here, cause
Right.
it's hella space out here. Hey, if y'all want me to get the spot, that's not a problem. I got y'all. We just need the funding.
Right. That kind of leads us into the cons of going to an HBCU, especially for someone in California. It is very far, and it is you're alone, which is why it's good to have that environment of people that help you out. But you will be alone in going to HBCU, um, because I mean, yeah, you're just going to be alone going to college, so HBCU, and you have to kind of navigate by yourself with the help of people, of course, but you still got to navigate stuff by yourself. That is that's hard for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people struggle with that, and it's unfortunate, but yeah. And another con with HBCU is a lot of HBCUs are in the middle of nowhere. Like seriously, I visited Tuskegee. When I tell you that is like there's nothing around it but trees and forests. It's literally nothing. But maybe a Whataburger down the street. Um, but yeah, it's just being in being in those schools like Tuskegee, that could be very not kind of scary and it feels very isolated. Those type of campuses, those type of HBCU campuses, which there's a lot of, aren't very. They're not a great environment to be in. Not for me, at least. I don't. It's not something I would want to be interested in, is being in those types of HBCU environments.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm a city boy too, bro. You know, we grew up out here in LA. As soon as you step out your house, you look left, right, up and down the street. There's a bunch of things to do, a bunch of places to go, a lot of places to eat, whole lot of options. So like I feel you there. It would be hard for me. I probably couldn't go to a school out here, a regular, predominantly white school or whatever out here that had nothing around it, just because it's just tough.
Right.
It's just tough. But
Right.
with time, I feel like, when we think 20, 30, maybe even 50 years down the line, Tuskegee is obviously there. If there's so much space, there's gonna be houses over there. There's gonna be
Right.
more options. They're gonna build more stuff over there. Real estate property is gonna go up. So in that case, uh, it's good. If you got the bag right now, go get you a little pad, whatever you can, hop on it. But I think, like, right now we're talking about this, but in 20 to 30 years when our kids or our grandkids are talking about this, hopefully they'll be able to say Tuskegee and have like more options around them,
Yeah. It'll be a different conversation. Very
Yeah.
different conversation in a few years or so. But the thing about that is a lot of HBCUs don't get too much money, either it be from the state or alumni, whether they're private institution or not. A lot of HBCUs don't get as compared to um, white institutions. They're not going to get as much money, and that's unfortunate because some schools they do look very run down, and they're not. This is not the best environment to be in. Like Jackson State, or like that school is beautiful. Honestly, the campus is beautiful. It's amazing. There's a lot on campus. One of my top schools, but around it, because I think there's a lot of floods and hurricanes in the area around it. There's a lot of rundown houses and such. There's a lot of stuff that you don't want to necessarily see when you walk off campus. So, like I was saying, it's hard being in an HBCU where there's not much money because you're kind of not. I mean, you're in a good environment, but you're in a good atmosphere, but you're not in a good environment, especially down south where the weather is crazy down there. So you do also have to deal with weather. That's a big thing as well as weather. So kind of having to adjust as someone from California where it's pretty much always sunny. Is you gotta kind of adjust to that type of new weather atmosphere, and it will be tough, but with time, people do adjust with time.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. One thing I wanted to say about funding, everything you mentioned, that those are things that I feel like we can control. Like, we have control over those things. As far as if that's fighting for more government money, then we could do that. It's not gonna happen overnight, but
Of course, yeah.
the fight and it can happen. We could do that. Um, we talk about like other money, like if we get a star athlete to go there, we get more star athletes to go there,
Right,
then we get more television time, then we get more bigger deals, and then that, it just leads back to funding to the school. It will
right,
some way. So I think that's one thing we have control over too. We have social media, we have influence, and all it takes is one guy to change the narrative, change the narrative on Instagram,
right,
change THA narrative underscore, feel me? Uh change the narrative.com. But all it takes is one person to change the narrative and go to a HBCU. That's the next LeBron. And then we get the next Zion. And then, it just leads from there. So I think, like, with the funding, although it is a con right now because we don't have the most, uh I think it's almost looked as a pro because that's something we have control over.
right.
With time and the right decisions, we could make it better and get more money.
Like you said too, we also do have control over influence on the internet, especially just in this generation. Because before my mom went to HBCU, she knew nothing about it. She had to go out and read about the information herself. It was hard for her to find the information, but being in the generation we are now, where everything is technology, 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 it's easier for people to find that information and get to an HBCU and learn about them and sort of be interested in them. So yeah, it's definitely for people who go to HBCUs and the HBCUs themselves. It's definitely their job to advocate more on social media, especially to go into these HBCUs and getting people to apply to them.
Yeah, for sure. Information is key. Information is key. As long as we make it more accessible to our people, I feel like,
Right.
hey, the rest is on you. Feel me? Right? Like that's the real. The information is there. The rest is on you. Like we have the information to become a millionaire. It's there. It's on your fingertips. The rest is on you.
Right.
It's as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. I wanted to ask you, Million, bro. You're in high school. You're about to be making that decision at some point. So if you could choose any college you wanted to go to today, where would you want to go?
Well, maybe a few months ago I would have said Southern University, which that is probably like my second favorite school, Southern University, in Baton Rouge, New Orleans. I mean Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But great school, love it. But my top right now has to be Jackson State University. And I know I talked about how the environment around it was bad, but the school itself is amazing, mainly because I've been on campus. Also, my cousin, he goes there, so I talked to him about it. He tells me about all the things all the adventures that he's been on, and I being there, it was a great experience. It was a whole vibe, like I was saying before. It's very good atmosphere to be around. Um, there were on campus there were actually things to do, like it's like a mini town on campus. You have food places, you have barbershops and stuff like that, so you kind of don't have to leave campus. And I'm not really a person that's type of leave campus, so it was perfect for me because I don't really go out more much. But yeah, and they also have the curriculum is pretty great. Their business school is pretty great. Engineering as well, and that's the reason why I want to go to Southern University because of the engineering. Pretty great. Also, I have ties there, so any place that I have ties with already and I can get in pretty smoothly and get scholarship and stuff like that, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Hey, feel you there. Feel you there. Definitely can't go wrong there.
Right.
To answer the question, bro, like I said not at the beginning of the episode, but in the episode, I said Benedict had given me a little offer, and I was like super happy because I went to the Black College Expo Day. If that's what it's called. I think
Yeah,
I
Black
don't know.
College Expo.
Yeah, I went to the Black College Expo, and that experience alone is super dope because you have predominantly HBCUs there, yes, but you have other schools there as well, like the
Right.
regular schools as well. You get good feedback, and then like when I went in there that day, I wasn't knowing that they'll write scholarships. You know what I'm saying, for people, and it's not like I was the only one getting scholarships. A lot of people were in there getting scholarships. My
And you
grades
get
weren't
scholarships on the spot. That's what I love about it.
yeah on the spot. Like he like there's one girl that was in front of me. She got a full ride before it was my turn. I was like her mom was like,
Seriously?
damn, yeah. I was like, damn, like that changed her life. You feel me? Like
Right.
I'd have been like, Yeet, I'm going, I'm gonna go there.
Right.
So and when I was at that day, like when I seen him right, like you're about to get a full ride right now, and that's worth hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like that made me rethink high school. Like damn, like I do have good grades right now, but I wish I would have went harder. So
Right.
I know that I'm finna give him my transcripts right now, and I'm about to get a full ride. I'm not finna just get like 2 years covered, and you gotta pay for the rest.
Right.
Although anything, you gotta be grateful for anything. Anything that
Right.
you. But just going back to that day specifically when I got that little scholarship, I wanted to go there. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go there. HBCU is the move. I didn't end up going, and I went to a community college. And then, like I said earlier in the episode, I lost my mom. So just with that happening to me, I probably wouldn't go to a HBCU just because it's mad far, and I'm gonna stay in Cali. I'm trying to stay in Cali right now, for the years being. So that's probably what would end me. That would end me up at like a predominantly white institution. But that's why I said we need to put a HBCU out in Cali. So let's get that popping. So my grandkids or my kid doesn't have to make the same decision that I did, and they
Right.
could experience it here. You never know, might mess around and change my mind. in a year or so when it's really time to decide. But as of now, I would stay out here. So
And yeah, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. So if the best for you is staying in California, do it. You know what I mean? No shame in it. Just do what you got to do.
just do what you gotta do and be the best you could be. You feel me?
Right.
Be
Yeah.
the best you could be. Take steps every day, uh, and get a bag. 'Cause that's what I'm trying to do
Right.
here. Change
Right.
the
Yeah.
narrative.
Right. Exactly. At the end of the day, you're trying to survive and make money. So you do what you got to
Facts,
do to survive and make money.
facts. I appreciate you for rocking. I appreciate everybody that was listening today, no matter how you were listening, driving in your car, however you were listening. We appreciate your ears. This is the Black Millennium Podcast, and this is Caleb, and I'm out. You got anything to say, man?
Thanks for tuning into Black Man Young Podcast. Stay safe and take care, everybody.
We out.